Good morning and welcome to Daybreak. I'm Blaine King.
And I'm Brittany Lawfer. On today's episode, we have some developments in the elections for United Student Government. Find out which representative is not seeking re-election. Excuse me.
And speaking of elections, Brittany and I had the chance to cover rallies in the past week for two presidential candidates. We will discuss what we took from that coverage.
And with it being the end of the semester, there are many great events coming up here at Point Park, and we will have several guests in studio to tell you about them.
Daybreak starts right now. All right, Britt, last week, really didn't get the chance to pull out my jean jacket. It was too cold out.
It was chilly. I brought out some winter coats.
Yeah, I put all my winter stuff away and I had to pull it back out. Wasn't too happy
Didn't the
about
groundhog say that spring was around the corner?
Yeah, the groundhog lied.
Well,
Again.
let's see. Let's check in with Alex. Alex, did he lie?
Well, Punxsutawney Phil kind of lied for a little. We got the snow, we got the rain, and we thought it was spring, but it kind of felt like winter number 2. But today, the weather should warm up. Today, it should be cloudy, much warmer than it was. It'll be around 65 degrees for the morning commute. It could get lower to 47. There is a 15% chance of rain today. It might cause some delays, but probably won't start anything problem. Later today, we'll tell you everything going on this week when it comes to weather. It should be much warmer than it was these past weeks. Now back to you, Brittany and Blaine.
The United Student Government elections will take place all this week. Students will be able to vote on OrgSync until Friday for the representatives. There will also be tables provided where students can vote at. One table will be on Wednesday from 12 to 3, and another will be on Thursday from 5 to 8. The location of these tables will be outside on the Point Cafe on the second floor of Lawrence Hall.
Continuing on our coverage of the USG elections, current USG Vice President Gabe Dubin announced that he will not seek a re-election for Vice President. Sophomore broadcast programming and production major Robert Bertha will seek the seat of Vice President following the completion of Dubin's term. Bertha said it is sad to see Dubin leave, but he also said, quote, "I feel like I have a finger on the pulse of the university, and I want to make sure everyone knows that," end quote.
On Friday, April 1st, there was a theft that occurred in one of the dorm rooms on Point Park's campus. The theft occurred in Thayer Hall, and the suspects went into an unlocked dorm room and stole unnamed items. Surveillance photos of the suspects were taken by the cameras in Thayer Hall and were sent out to Point Park students via email to alert them of the crime and suspects. Point Park Police urges students to call 412-392-3960 if they have any information related to the crime. Coming up after the break, we will be joined in studio by members from the Campus Activities Board to discuss what they have planned for us for the rest of the semesters.
And later we will be joined by the Assistant General Manager from the WPPJ to discuss their upcoming event.
Welcome back to Daybreak. Now joining us in studio is Louis Spanos and Colton Gill from the Campus Activities Board. Thanks so much for being here, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Yes, guys, thanks so much for joining us. My first question is, can you tell us some of the events CAB is throwing together for the end of the year?
Yeah, sure. So for the end of the year, to wrap it up with a big bang, we have coming up this Friday, actually, April 15th, our Spring Fling, which is our big end-of-year party that we do to kick off the finals week, and it's our real big end-of-year bash. So that'll be a big event that Lewis can talk a little bit more about.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last time we were here. So we're going to have some tacos there. So talk about a party. We're going to have some tacos there. We're going to have some Jimmy Buffett music there. We're going to have...
Where will it be at?
It's going to be in... Village Park, and then...
Fun.
Yeah, so we're really excited. And then on top of that, we're going to have some popsicles to help cool off with. And then an obstacle course too.
Very fun.
Among other things. So it's going to be a great time.
So what is your roles with these activities? What are your positions on the board?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm the Experience Pittsburgh coordinator, so I do events at Experience Pittsburgh either on campus or around the city to make the best of our urban campus.
Yeah, and then this year I'm the Vice President of Marketing, so I oversee all of CAB's marketing efforts from the graphic design to our social media and public relations outreaches.
Very neat.
Nice. And you mentioned the Spring Fling that is coming up. What is your anticipated attendance? based off years prior?
Sure. So last year, what we did was we did an Alice in Wonderland theme, and we saw over 400 students attend that event.
Nice.
We're expecting, as long as the weather holds out, which is always a big maybe, especially this time of the year,
Oh, yeah.
for a similar attendance for that. It's really a big bash for students to come up. It's to celebrate the last day of classes and to really experience a fun time on campus before getting into the summer break of things.
And then what other events will be happening the rest of the semester?
Sure. So following that, the week after, on the Thursday, we have our final late night bingo event of the year. That's actually a really big following that is built up. We have a lot of students who come to that every single month. It's the first time we've done monthly programming, and it's something that's really paid off for us and has really created a culture on campus. They're actually working with Experience Pittsburgh's committee for that.
Yeah,
So it's going to be Experience Pittsburgh in the summer bingo event.
Yeah, so at this event, we're going to have some summer themed colors going on. We're going to give out some prizes to the first 50 or so people to arrive at the event. So make sure you get there early. We're going to be giving out Pittsburgh themed prizes like kayaking, Kennywood tickets, Ducky Tour tickets.
Wow.
And then to touch everything off, we're going to have performances from some of the most well-received events this semester. So drag show. We're going to have Bambi Dearest, our MC from that event, return, along with another drag queen, Miss Dixie Sherwood. So it's going to be a great time. There's going to be some tap dance, a little bit of bingo, a little bit of Pittsburgh, a little bit of everything. So it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, and that'll be happening Thursday, the 21st, from 9 to 11 p.m. over in Lawrence Hall, the Lawrence Hall Ballroom.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you mentioned how late night bingo has been a success this year. How proud of you, how are you two both of that event, and are you looking forward to continuing on to next year?
Sure. So something that we really tried to do this year was do a monthly series programming so that students could always know, okay, there's bingo going on the third Thursday of every month. If I don't have anything coming up, I can always go and have some fun and win some prizes late at night on a
There
Thursday.
was two other ones, right? Coffee with Cab and what was the
Yeah,
other?
so we do Coffee with Cab, which is like our instructional series. Just last time we had an art teacher come in and they did watercolor and charcoal painting, so that was really fun. That's the first Friday of every month, and then the third second Saturday, if I get my
Second
alliteration
Saturday.
together.
Yeah.
Second Saturday is Point Park After Dark, which is where we do a lot of novelty type events over in the gym. So we did a Mardi Gras golf course. We've done a couple other things that are larger scale in that nature.
Yeah, and then this coming Saturday, we actually have that event coming up again.
Okay,
So we're
what
going
is
to be doing some video games there and partnering with Tabletop Tire to do some card games as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
That does sound a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
So what are plans for next year? Have you guys started looking into different programs, things to start and to continue as well?
Sure. So we actually just started having meetings in regards to next year's board. We just finalized hiring for that, so everybody's on board and excited.
Are you guys going to be on the board next year?
Yes.
Yeah. So Lewis is actually going to be serving a new role that we've established, the membership coordinator role.
Oh.
You want to talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit?
so I'm really excited to establish this position. So it's just going to be getting members onto CAB, telling them about CAB, teaching them about CAB, then helping them get professional experiences and making sure they're getting the best out of their experience within CAB.
Very neat.
And then Colton here is actually our new executive director.
Yeah. For next year.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to see where it goes and really build off the successes that we've had this year.
Nice, nice. That is very cool. And we thank you both for joining us today in studio.
Yeah.
And stay tuned because after the break, we will tell you which marquee event here in Pittsburgh is moving, the dates that is being held, and to try to make the event even a bigger splash this year. Welcome back to Daybreak. Now, here are some local news headlines. A few weeks ago, we told you about a proposal sent to the Pittsburgh City Council which would decriminalize marijuana. Last Tuesday, the City Council took a final vote and passed the bill by an 8-1 decision. The bill governs how a person would be treated if they were discovered with a small amount of marijuana. Pennsylvania law still poses a problem when making the marijuana use merely a civil case. While it would remain in the criminal court system, it will be cited only as a summary offense, with a fine ranging from $25 to $100.
Extras are needed in Pittsburgh for our new Netflix series called Mindhunter. Filming is to begin next month and is continuing throughout December. The series focuses on two FBI agents who are pioneers in behavioral profiling in the 1970s. Nancy Mosser Casting has put an open casting call for extras, which will be held this Saturday, April 16th from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. at Blackbird Studios on Butler Street in Pittsburgh. They are primarily looking for people over 18 years old and who could play police officers, paramedics, firefighters, military personnel, SWAT officers, FBI agents, and law enforcement recruiters.
Every year, thousands flock to Pittsburgh for the Three Rivers Regatta, but this year it will be pushed back to the first week in August instead of combining it with the 4th of July festivities. The regatta now is in its 39th year, will be pushed back as a way to save money on police and other crowd control measures, as well as give the city 2 major outdoor summer festivities. The new date is set for August 5th through 7th. And Brittany and I had the opportunity to cover both the Bernie Sanders rally and the Hillary Clinton rally that happened in Pittsburgh over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was an incredible experience. Honestly, I wanted to do something big before I graduated, and to cover a political campaign like that, it was incredible. It was such a fun experience. We met a ton of people.
Yes, it was a great experience. I know we both went out with Zach Aaron, and it was such a fun experience.
He was a great photog.
I know, especially for this being an election year. It's a great experience to get out of. To be able to put on our reels just go out and get the crowd
I'm hoping some more candidates come, because I would love to cover one more before I graduate. And we had fun with a feature on Facebook called The Live. We were doing live shots, and that's the closest we can get to going live here in school. So I thought it was a blast. I learned a lot, for sure.
Yeah, I learned a lot too, and like you said, I'm looking forward to seeing if other candidates come, or if the 2 nominees are able to come back to Pittsburgh sometime next year.
Trump did just set up an office, so he might be the next one. Who knows?
Okay, well, we will see.
We'll keep you informed.
Yep. Now let's take a look at what's going on across the country. Let's go over to Casey at the Daybreak News Desk.
Thanks, guys. Controversy arose this week in Mississippi over the passing of a law allowing religious groups and private businesses to deny services to people of the LGBTQ community. Governor Phil Bryant signed the bill last Tuesday, which also prohibits local communities from passing their own ordinances. This bill will allow any place of business, such as schools, hotels, and adoption centers, to deny service to individuals based upon their sexuality. The law, dubbed the Protecting Freedom of the Conscience from Government Discrimination Act by lawmakers, is said by Republicans to be a necessary bill for Christians who feel they have had to compromise their religious beliefs after the Supreme Court passed the marriage equality ruling last year. On Twitter, Governor Bryant released a statement saying that the bill, quote, merely reinforces the rights which currently exist to the exercise of religious freedom as stated in the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, unquote. A similar bill was shut down this week in Georgia after big businesses such as Coca-Cola, expressed strong opposition. A similar response is expected in Mississippi as LGBTQ advocates respond. The law is set to take effect July 1st. In other news, San Francisco has become the first place in the country to require businesses to provide fully paid leave for employees who are new parents. The measure was unanimously approved and provides parents with 6 weeks of paid leave. While small business owners have complained that the act unfairly targets them, the mayor, Ed Lee, stands behind the act and is planning on signing the measure this week. The U.S. remains the only major industrialized nation that does not require paid leave. Now let's go back to Brittany and Blaine over at the couch.
Thanks, Casey. When we return to Daybreak, we will find out who was voted off of Dancing with the Stars last week. I hope it wasn't Antonio.
I know, and later we will find out some information on the next great event from the Pittsburgh Center for Sports Media and Marketing.
Hey everyone, I'm Chloe Bendis here with your entertainment update. All right guys, again we begin with one of my favorite shows, Dancing with the Stars. This past week the show celebrated the stars' most memorable years of their lives. Unfortunately, one couple had to be sent home. Actress Misha Barton and her partner Artem scored an 18 out of 30. The lowest score of the night. As a result of the judges' scores combined with America's votes, she was sent home. Misha actually seemed more relieved than sad about being voted off. Not gonna lie, I was kind of relieved too. On the other hand, my all-time favorite, and not to mention gorgeous, Nal DeMarco, received the highest score of the night with their tango, a 25 out of 30. Nal chose 2012 as his most memorable year when he traveled the world without an interpreter. Dancing with the Stars airs Monday at 8 p.m. on ABC. In other news, Ian Somerhalder, who plays Damon on The Vampire Diaries, is taking a step behind the camera for the second time. Ian dishes on directing his latest episode of The Vampire Diaries. He told sources, quote, "This episode is obviously very different from the last one. My last one was very fast-paced, very dark, very conceptual. Caroline's turning into this very dangerous maniacal lunatic, and it was a lot of fun. It was dark. This one was really setting up where the rest of the season will go. End quote. Make sure to check this episode out. Vampire Diaries airs Friday on the CW at 8 p.m. That's all I have for entertainment news. Now to talk about an event that will be entertaining students here on campus. Let's go over to Brittany and Blaine with their next guest.
Thanks, Chloe. And yes, we are joined here in studio by our next guest, Thoraya Devlin, the Assistant General Manager from WPPJ, to talk about their Spring Acoustic Cafe.
Thanks for joining us here today,
Of
Thoraya.
course, I love being here.
We love having you.
Yes, we do. We love working with WPPJ. And this Spring Acoustic, is this a new event that WPPJ is throwing up today, this year?
Well, we've tried to do different acoustic events in the past, but for
Right.
some reason in the spring it just hasn't really worked out. But finally this semester we've been able to go through with it. So the event's going to be from 4 to 7 in
Yes.
Village Park on Thursday. And it's going to have Hannah Jenkins and Chase Barron and Gabe Reed performing. And we're going to have coffee and bagels provided by Brugger's.
Wonderful.
nice.
That
That
sounds like a
sounds
great
fun.
event. And those were the winners of the studio that they have, the recording studio on
Yep,
campus.
the Pioneer Records,
Yes.
yes.
We just talked to what was it, Chase, a
Chase,
week or
yeah.
two ago.
Pioneer Records and Music Association are doing the event with us, so they're both going to have promotional tables there, and so are we. So it's going to be a really great time.
That's cool. Collaborating with other organizations on campus must be a great thing to do, especially with this event, correct?
Yes, I love working with other organizations on campus. For Rockathon, we partnered with the SAEM Club and kind of built both of our audiences that way, and I'm excited to expand WPPJ's audience as well as the other two organizations and kind of bring everybody together.
That sounds great. So this is one of your last big hurrahs before you graduate, correct?
Yes, I'm done in 3 weeks, and I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I'm there too. Congrats. So that's a
Lucky
good
you.
thing to go out on, like with this event. I feel like this is kind of like your event too. Like,
Yeah, I've done most of the planning for this. Trevor doesn't want anything to do with it, so it's been my brainchild and my little project, and I'm very excited to see everything come together.
do you think it's something that can be an annual event in the future?
Yes, I hope that it definitely could be an annual thing, and that the people that are in office after me would be able to pick it up and make it even bigger and better than I hopefully will on Thursday.
And you mentioned that the event is from 4 to 7 and that there's going to be, of course, music and other tables there. Is there anything else that is going to be provided at the event on this Thursday?
Each organization, so PJ and then Music Association and Pioneer Records, are all going to give out a ton of free stuff. Like I said, we have coffee and bagels provided by Brugger, so it's going to be a nice little afternoon pick-me-up before everybody goes out on their Thursday night.
Sounds great.
It
Thanks
sounds
so
very
much. For that.
great. Yes, that sounds excellent.
Is there anything else that we should know about WPPJ that they're doing that's going on the rest of the semester, or things that are planned for next semester?
We did pick dates for Rockathon. I don't know them off the top of my head right now, but Rockathon next semester is definitely something that everyone should look forward to.
Yes.
And I'm excited for those that are filling in for my position as well as the other seniors that are graduating to kind of step in and make PJ bigger and better than it could be this year.
Has the positions been set yet?
Not yet, no. We are still deciding that. Applications for general manager are actually due on Friday.
Okay.
And from that point, they're going to interview and decide who will get those positions.
And my last question for you is, I know you've been a part of WPPJ for previous years, and this year it seemed like they made a big jump, reaching out to other organizations and clubs on campus. And I know it's due to your leadership and Trevor's leadership that this was able to take place. So can you just reflect on your time being at WPPJ?
I have been with PJ since I was a freshman, so I am very happy to see the growth that we have made as an organization in those last 4 years. You're right, we definitely have expanded so much this semester in comparison to years in the past, and all I
Right.
want is really for us to continue growing and to continue working with everybody else around campus and just gaining more awareness.
Sounds great. Thanks so much for coming in today. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today, Thoraya. And again, thanks for stopping by. But after the break, we will look at the weather, and we will also inform everybody on what's happening the rest of the week when we check in with Alex.
Welcome back to Daybreak. I'm Alex Scrubs with your weekly forecast. As I was saying earlier, today should be around 65 degrees and might rain. As we go through the week around Tuesday, Wednesday, we should have temperatures around the mid-50s. As we move throughout the week, around Thursday, we're getting the warm weather we've been waiting for. Instead of that nasty snow, we finally got the sun we can finally enjoy. As we move to Friday, Saturday, the weather should stay around in the high 60s. And by the weekend, 64 degrees on Sunday. We might have some rain, but The weather should finally warm up for this nice spring. Blaine and Brittany have an exclusive interview going up, and here's Blaine and Brittany with their next guest.
Thanks, Alex. Now we are joined in studio by Jack Morzinski, who is part of the Student Advisory Board for the Pittsburgh Center for Media and Marketing.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Thanks
So,
so
for
much,
real quick,
Zach.
just tell us about your experience being on the board so far over the past few years and what you've really gained from it.
Okay, so I started when I was a freshman. I started volunteering. I saw the center at one of those like events where they show all like the clubs at Point Park. And I remember I was like, hey, you know, would you guys need help with volunteers? So I started volunteering for events when I was a freshman. When I was a sophomore, I ended up, they asked me, hey, would you want to be part of the board? And I said yes. And from there, it's just been, you know,
You're
better and better.
definitely one of the most active members from what I've seen. thus
Yeah,
far.
I do a lot. I do a lot with their social media, so that's why it seems like I'm one of the more actives. But that's, you know, that's my strong suit with them. I'm always thinking of new ideas when it comes to marketing, I guess. So,
And besides social media, is there anything else that you do for the center?
I try to just help out Kelsey whenever I can, you know. So that's pretty much about it.
All right.
Okay.
And then, so there's a huge event coming up. Well, you guys have been doing events all year long, but there's a really big one. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, we have MasterCard coming in, and this is new for us because we kind of just gave them a cold call, and they decided, yeah, we would love to come in and, you know, talk to the students. And it's actually going to be a week from today, and it's going to be in the Lawrence Hall Ballroom. It's going to be a big event. We have 2 VPs, like vice presidents of sponsorship, coming in for MasterCard. So.
It's incredible. So I'm sure everyone will be coming to the event
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, we hope to, because we have Mike and Adriana. Adriana does a lot of team sports sponsorships, so she works a lot with the MLB. She worked with the All-Star Games before. And then we also have Mike, who does a lot more of just U.S. sponsorship as a whole. And they do a lot. They're very cool people, and I'm excited to hear them talk, and I hope everybody else is too. So.
Cool. And how did the planning process for this event to take place occur? Like, what were the steps to get MasterCard to come here to Point Park University?
Kelsey kind of found them and, you know, heard about a couple of the VPs and then, you know, gave them a message, and then they decided to respond back, and we kept in constant contact with them. And this has been going on since like November. It's been like a long time coming, and we finally got everything organized, and we have them coming. So we're very excited for it.
And then after this event, this will be the last one of the semester, correct?
Correct.
Do you guys have anything in preparation for next year?
We do. We're working on events. Nothing's set in stone, so I couldn't say anything yet. But we do. We'll probably have 3 events coming up in the fall. We're working on them now. We'll know by the end of this semester or going into the summer. We'll know when those events are, and then the dates obviously will be announced later.
Sounds
But
great.
we have some excited people coming in.
Cool.
So.
And I guess it has to be very exciting to have MasterCard come here because it's a new organization that's coming to Point Park. So.
Oh yeah, no, they're huge with sponsorships. They do 55 million every year. So, and that's just in
Wow,
the U.S.
I did
alone.
not
And
know
they're
that.
global. They're global too, which is another thing they're gonna hit on whenever they're here because they're a global company. They do a lot with like rugby. They do, you know, Major League Baseball. They do stuff with soccer. They do stuff with the NFL. They're all over the place. So.
Sounds great.
It's going to be huge for Point Park, and I'm sure that students will take a lot out of it as well.
Yeah, I hope so. They normally will talk with you after the events, so you can always get some good networking in.
Sounds great. Thanks so much for stopping in today.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Thanks so much for stopping by, Jack. And thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Daybreak. Make sure you attend the MasterCard event as well. That's happening this Thursday at 1 p.m. in the Lawrence Hall Ballroom.
And thank you for watching another episode of Daybreak.
Make sure you tune in again next week for more entertainment
More news.
and everything in between.
Have a great week, Point Park, and make sure you check out some of these great happening here on campus.